Are you looking for a new whiskey adventure? Then climb in and buckle up. Get ready for one hell of a ride on the Whiskey Trip podcast with your host, Big Chief. Join in as he and his guests explore whiskey and dive into whiskey stories from around the world. Now here's your host, Big Chief.
Folks, you know, here on the Whiskey Trip, we celebrate more than just the pour in our glass. We celebrate heritage, tradition, and the stories that make this country what it is. That's why I'm proud to tell you about our friends at the Heritage Flag Company. These aren't just flags, they're handcrafted works of art built from whiskey and bourbon barrels that once held the spirit we all love. Every cut, every nail, every burn mark tells a story of patience and craftsmanship. Just like the whiskey we sip, these flags are bold, timeless, and full of character. Whether you hang one in your home bar, your man cave, or gift it to a veteran or first responder, a heritage flag isn't just decor. It's a statement. It says you believe in freedom, tradition, and the legacy we pass down. So saddle up, whiskey family, and head over to theheritageflag.com. Use code WhiskeyTrip10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Let them know Big Chief sent you. Because just like your favorite pour, the Heritage Flag Company is made to be shared, honored, and remembered. Now let's get on to the show. Hey, it's old Big Chief, and yeah, you're taking another ride on the Whiskey Trip. And folks, I've had this joker on with me before, but I didn't do video last time, and I want to get video laid down with him and his charity, his foundation, and I've got Frontline Heroes Outdoors, and I know you've heard me say and praise them many, many times, but I got their founder and their president, Preston Wall, on me. Preston, welcome to the Whiskey Trip again, my friend.
Big Chief, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. This is always it's always fun getting to relate to you.
Yeah, I feel like we have a connection, and the first time I met you, I was up in Dallas doing a whiskey tasting at the Dallas Cowboys football game for Thanksgiving, and you rolled up and with your mighty beard, you had a kid in tow with you, and I was like, man, look at this guy. This is his dedication right there. And you were like, man, we got to do something together. And since then, we've stayed connected. You are a veteran yourself, an Air Force veteran. Thank you for your service. It's always a pleasure to have a fellow veteran on with me. And you're like me. You're one of those government workers.
Yeah. Good old federal workers, man. This is my 21st year, going on 22. So done it for what a lot of people call a long time. It's given me a great life, so I've got really no complaints whatsoever.
It's let you grow that amazing beard is what it's done.
That's fair. This is actually a COVID-driven beard. I ran the crisis action team at Joint Base San Antonio during COVID when it first kicked off in 2020. And the guys who I was locked away with at night, we kind of all had made a commitment to each other. We were going to grow our beards out until COVID was kind of not a thing anymore. And after we all decided to shave our beards off, my wife really liked my beard, and the guys pretty much were like, if you shave your beard, you're an idiot. And it's kind of become part of my personality. And, like we talked about before, it really becomes a talking point for me. I have people who walk up and, I get some crazy folks sometimes. They're like, hey, do you mind if I touch your beard? Or can I caress your beard? I'm like, yeah, man, whatever. I'm just such an easy, outgoing person that doesn't bother me at all. But I use it as a talking point because I'm like, hey, while you're looking at my beard or whatever thing you're doing here, let me tell you about FHO. It's called Frontline Heroes Outdoors. And it's just a great stepping stone into a conversation that I feel is so organic. And it's given me a reason not to shave my beard.
Well, I love it. I love it. A talking point's a good thing. It's like the scars on my face. Everybody always wants to ask, what's up with those scars on your face?
Yeah. It becomes a part of your personality and who you are, right?
Those kind of define my life anyways. When you're a kid and you have big old scars on your face like that, they used to be like this big across my cheek. And, you can take a lot of punishment as a kid from other kids, talking about your scars on your face. And the one, I have a big scar between my eyes, and, hey, it just makes you tougher.
For
And
sure.
there's not a whole lot of person could say now that makes me mad at all. I'm just like, you know what? I've taken it worse. And if that's the best you can do, you better bring your A game for me. I am drinking whiskey on this show, everybody. I'm drinking this old Charter Oak right here, this French oak barrel aged right here out of Buffalo Trace. The old Charter Oak is the standard American white oak, by the way. A lot of people don't know that. Back in 1874 is when they named their whiskey company Old Charter Oaks. Just a little bit of back history. So, Preston, while I'm sipping on this, tell listeners and viewers, how did you come about starting an organization, a charity such as Frontline Heroes Outdoors, and what drove it?
Yeah, and before I start, I want to give a shout out to my friend Ryan at Southern Collective. They are a distillery out in Nashville, and if you're ever in Nashville, I highly recommend him. Ryan is the master blender up there, and this is actually a barrel pick that we recently did, and it's called the Fourth Chair. For those that are able to see the video and not just listening, the fourth chair basically represents the fourth person who can't be there with you because that person is either deployed or they're on shift or they're on call. Or they've passed away and you're just leaving a chair open for them. We actually left some dog tags on this label, but we called this pick the Southern Collective Fourth Chair. It's a single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, and it is phenomenal. Actually, it's kind of funny. The first 3 barrels that we tried while we were there, they were all good. And Ryan said, well, why don't we just try this 4th barrel? Well, oddly enough, we had already labeled the 4th chair for the next barrel pick because it meant a lot to us, right? And we ended up going with that 4th barrel. So it was just happenstance that it came about. And you'll see the top here is red wax, and red stands for Remember Everybody Deployed. So it all came together. So I'm going to have a little bit of pour of this while we're chatting, if that's okay.
Yeah, drink away.
So you asked me how FHO came about. A little bit about me personally. Like I said earlier, I've worked for the government and the military a little over 20 years. And at the cusp of 2016, I really started getting heavily involved with volunteerism on base. I was helping run annual awards. I became the POC for the Air Force Ball here at Joint Base San Antonio. I ran the ball for a few years. And then COVID hit and everything shut down. And personally, and this is more so about Preston than about Frontline, but I ended up going to counseling during COVID because I just had some inner demons that I had never faced before. And, you know, it was a really, really tough time for me. At home, my wife at the time was a school teacher. Now she's a principal, but she was having to work from home. I was having to work from home. We had 3 kids in school. It was just a crazy time. And so I put myself into counseling, and my counselor one day said, hey, why don't you consider using all of your contacts that you've utilized for the military for something else and volunteer yourself in a different capacity for veterans specifically. And it was just happenstance that day I looked online on Facebook, and there was an ad that said, like, are you a veteran looking to give back? Please join this organization. So I messaged that organization's director, and like literally the next day I became a staff member for them. And I became their Texas state director for a big national nonprofit, but they were really, really honed in on like hunting and fishing. And it was really geared towards veterans and militaries. Yes, they did first responders as well, but I just saw a lot of things that could be done differently. And I also knew that Texas was a very underserved community because of the plethora of veterans that we have throughout the state. And so a little over 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, I looked at Tom Sawicki, who is now our VP, and Andrew Scott, who's been one of my best friends for 30 plus years. I said, hey guys, I've got this crazy idea. Are you willing to do it with me? And we founded Frontline, and think we got our IRS designation letter 19 days later, which was incredible. And we started from scratch. We didn't have a penny. And since then, we have taken over 1,300 people, military members, veterans, first responders, and their family members on multiple adventures, not only throughout the state of Texas, but actually throughout the United States now. Everything from hunting to fishing, which is pretty much our bread and butter, but we do all sorts of random things as well. We do skydiving, concerts. We're season ticket holders for the Dallas Cowboys. We're season ticket holders for the San Antonio Spurs. We do barrel picks. So we take our members out and do barrel picks, and we take those bottles and we gift them to our veterans and our military members and first responders on trips. We also resell them because we make a little bit of money to put back to the organization. And then we do couple date nights, kind of crazy. In 3 weeks, I rented out an entire movie theater, and I'm taking 60 people to go see this new kiddo movie called The Sheep Detective. So we're going to be able to bless a bunch of families in that way. Tom, my VP, rented out an ice skating rink for over 100 people, and we're going to be able to take them ice skating. You know, it's not these massively expensive trips, but it's really about the cause, and it's about the mission and getting people outdoors. Because when we say outdoors, we don't just mean like hiking in the woods. We mean anything outside of your doorstep. So really, really just fighting the mental health struggle that we all know about with our veterans, military members, and first responders, and getting them reintegrated back into a society where they feel welcomed.
Well, you know, veterans like myself, you know, you can end your military career or military service and you can feel very alone because you don't have that camaraderie. And I don't think you could have said it better to get you out of your house to where you've almost trapped yourself inside your house because you don't feel connection with the outside world. You don't have that person that every day, that sergeant, that, you know, that gunny, that chief, somebody checking on you every day. In the military, you have that. You have somebody that's going to check on you, that's going to say, hey, did you show up today? Did you show up to work? And, you know, in civilian life, it's not like that. You might not have somebody that ever checks on you, especially if you're single, or, you know, you're an empty nester, you know, and you're missing that connection. You know, a lot of people do miss that connection. So I'm glad there's guys like yourself that said, hey, I want to create an organization that will give back and that will help people out. Whether it's taking, you know, kids to movie theaters where they feel like, hey, they're in a new city in San Antonio, right? Or taking people hunting and stuff. It retreats. You know, you've tried to get me to go on several different things with you guys, and it just doesn't. My schedule doesn't work out. It seems like, you know, sometimes life is just too busy. But one of these days, you're gonna say, "Hey, Mike, come," and I'm gonna pop up. I'm gonna say, "Hey, I'm here."
That'd be great.
But so you're taking people out hunting this stuff. Tell me about some of these trips besides the movie theaters and stuff. Tell me about some of the or other organizations that's helped you out as well.
Sure. One thing that I always love doing is giving feedback, and we thrive as an organization on feedback as to, you know, how we can do things better, and you know, what potentially went wrong, and hopefully nothing ever does. But, you know, if there's a way that we can grow organically and do things in a better way, like, we always accept feedback. And so at the end of all of our trips, we send out these feedback forms, and it's basically, did you enjoy the trip? What was something you will always remember about the trip, and what could we do better? And so what I always like to do is read a couple of quotes when I'm doing these podcasts and, you know, meeting with sponsors and whatnot. So I'll read you a few of them. We took an individual to the tactical games, and he said, "It literally gave me purpose. I haven't felt this way in years. I felt alive." We took a young lady to a Spurs game, and she said, "This was a game that kept me out of a depressive slump after my major surgery." We took Brian to a Rangers game. "I've been struggling to find a community since I medically retired. From the second I met them, I knew this was something I wanted to be a part of." We took someone to equine therapy, and they said, "It quieted my mind from the drive there to working with my horse to the drive home." And then I actually took this gentleman on a black buck hunt in South Texas, and he said, "I had been down after losing my younger brother. When I got the call, it gave me something to look forward to. When we got there and everyone treated us like family, I knew everything was going to be okay. From losing 2 members to gaining 7 more, I never felt like a more family-driven purpose." And those are the quotes, and those are the things that when we have long days, when we, bicker amongst the board, or we have disagreements with our staff members, you go back and read those and you just think like, we are serving a bigger purpose here. It's okay to have disagreements. And we welcome new ideas, but at the end of the day, just reading those gives me the light, in the Air Force, we call it being reblued. And that gives me the drive and energy to put 40 hours on top of my 40-hour day job that I have for the military currently back into FHO, and it gives me purpose. And I'm very fortunate and blessed to have a great team and a wife and family that are understanding that this is what keeps me going.
Man, that is inspiring that, you feel that drive to help others out. And, I'm going to say this over and over throughout the podcast, but without guys and gals like from Frontline Heroes Outdoors, we'll lose more veterans. We'll lose more first responders if there's not somebody to save them or give them a purpose. And sometimes that's all people need is a small purpose in life. And, somebody asked me why I got into podcasting. I needed a purpose besides my day job to fill my mind and stuff. And it gave me a purpose and stuff. And does it help people out? Some people say it does help people out, but also it gives me a voice to do things like this to help out a organization that helps my brothers and sisters out that are in need. So it is very powerful. But you're on a whiskey podcast, so you are doing barrel picks, and some people would probably say, "Oh, veterans don't need to drink," but your whiskey could be used as a powerful tool to help people out. And you guys are using that. You raise money for it, and you give them a camaraderie thing. They get to go do it together. How many barrel picks have you guys done to date?
Oh man, I'd have to count between, I want to say all of them collectively between 15 and 20. And that's either us doing the pick itself or being invited to do a pick. And then we have other board members who have done picks on their own as well. So we'd like to think that, we're pretty decent at it, but at the same time, it's really about the mission. It's about the camaraderie. It's about being able to, bring people out and give them purpose again. The most recent one we did was we went to Still Austin. And I actually have one single bottle here, and we're waiting on it to be officially bottled, but this came straight from the barrel. And that's a Still Austin rye cask strength we did with Christian over there, and it turned out phenomenal. So that'll be my next pour while we're chatting. And we also did a short barrel while we were there as well. Man, we've done so many, not a ton, but we've done a lot of barrel picks, and each one has had its individual purpose and meaning. One of the things that I hold near and dear to my heart is my friend Brenda at Milam and Green, and the whole team there, and Heather and Miss Marcia and everybody there. They love FHO, and they love our staff, and they love our mission. And so every Veterans Day we do a Veterans Day pick. This last year we actually had, it was really amazing. We had a Vietnam veteran, Desert Stork veteran, Afghanistan veteran, I'm an Iraqi veteran, and a bunch of other vets from different eras come out and do this barrel pick together. And so on Veterans Day, I think it was the weekend, but regardless, to celebrate Veterans Day, people could come and bottle your own barrel, or bottle your own bottle from the barrel itself, and it has our label on it. And it's just super meaningful, and we get the proceeds from that day specifically. But although the money is nice and it helps us produce our mission and gets us going and gets us out there more, it's really awesome to see other people believe in what we do and give back to our mission, and even if it means a barrel pick. So we've done some really, really unique ones for sure.
Well, I mean, at some point, do you have a shelf? I'm looking at all the whiskey behind you. do you have every one of those barrel picks
I do.
on one
If
shelf?
you like, I'm going to try to use my finger here, but that top shelf up there, besides the E.H. Taylors, that's, I mean, I can read off a few of them. We've done a couple of Still Austins. We've done a Penelope, 2 Mile and Greens, Nashville Barrel Company, a couple of Southern Collectives, and a few others. So we've been fortunate and blessed to meet some folks in the industry who want to help us out and get in front of some distilleries that we necessarily wouldn't be able to get in front of as Preston or as Tom or as Andrew, whoever, but because of our purpose and our drive and what we're doing, people want to give back. Southern Collective, I'll brag about them all day long. They send a specific bottle to us for every single trip that we do, and they actually label it a title of what that trip is. So like we just did a hunt at the Shaw Ranch in Freer, Texas. It was called like the Shaw Brotherhood bottle. It's just really cool that they're willing to go out of their way and send us things like that so we can bless our veterans and give back to them. And it was really cool because this literally just happened last weekend. I was out on this hunt with a Purple Heart veteran, and he was very kind and very nice and humble. And what was great is after the hunt, we opened up the bottle of bourbon, and he just opened up. And it was amazing to hear his stories. He talked about his father and how he served, and now that he served for 28 years. He's prior enlisted, and now he's an officer, and all the things that he's been through. And it was just amazing that a bottle of bourbon or whiskey would be able to open that door where he feels comfortable enough talking about these things that he may not have ever talked to anybody else about. And that's kind of the goodness of it, where although some may say like, well, veterans should be drinking because it, could heighten suicide rates or whatever it may be. I respectfully disagree. I think that it gives a talking point. It opens up some doors. Just tomorrow, I'm going to a private bourbon get together for veterans, and there's going to be, I think, 30 people there. And yeah, they love FHO. I don't even talk about FHO while I'm there because they're just such great guys, and I'm honored to be a part of that group. And because I'm a veteran, I'm able to be, and I'm able to, chat with them about stuff that not the entire world would be able to understand.
Yeah, that's I'm going this weekend to an event, and there's some veterans going to be there, but there's some non-veterans going to be there, and I've told people this before. If you aren't a veteran and you haven't served, if the veterans are kicking it by themselves and joking with each other, just let them be. Let them do their thing, and don't feel like you're being invited into that fray of making comments about each other's branches and stuff. That's just a veteran thing. We do that as brothers and sisters. Like, it's a little infighting, I guess, in our families.
Yeah.
Right?
Once you're in the circle of trust as a veteran, you're able to make fun of Marines for being crayon eaters, or, Army for not doing well on the ASVAB or whatever it may be, or Air Force called the chair force or whatever. But if you're outside of that bubble, it's a protective bubble. And even a Marine will stand up for an Air Force student and say, hey, I don't think you're going to talk to a veteran that way today. It's an incredible brotherhood and sisterhood. We're trying to get better about ensuring that we utilize the word sisterhood, because there are a ton of female veterans out there and female bourbon drinkers too. We've found that to be a huge thing as well, and we want to make sure that they feel included. And that's kind of going back to our mission and our trips and what we do. I mean, there are literally trips in which that we've gotten feedback. I was at one of it was a whiskey event, and a lady walked up to me and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I went on your all-female spa day. I would never go on another trip because I don't trust men. And the fact that you opened this up, I was able to go enjoy a day away with some other female veterans who can understand the struggles that I've had in my military career, and I was able to open up. And on top of that, like, I would never spend that money to go have a massage and a pedicure and manicure and a facial and, spend $800, $1,000 or whatever the cost was. We don't care about that. We care more about, did it help somebody? Did it touch a life? We the littlest thing could go a long way. I think that we all know that just as human beings, but as veterans as well. I'll tell you really quick. We had a gentleman walk up to me it was an event where we went to an indoor shooting range that was virtual. So it was a virtual shooting range, and I'm about to walk into the bathroom, and this guy just pulls me to the side. And he's like, "Hey man, I got to talk to you super quick." And I was like, "Tell me what's going on." I didn't know what was about to happen. He goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know my son's in the bathroom," and I didn't want to say anything in front of him, but he actually has not left his room in almost 3 months. And because he randomly ran across your profile on like some ad or Facebook or something, he saw this and he wanted to be a participant. And this opened up that door, and now he's able to come and be around people for the first time in 3 months. And I would have never thought that this, virtual shooting range where we're serving pizza to a bunch of families would mean the world to somebody like that. But it did. It made a difference. And so you just never know who you're going to touch, even in the smallest cases.
That's so true. Well, before we end this half right here, let's remind listeners how they can find you guys and how they can get involved. And if they're a veteran, how they sign up to go on these trips to get some of the benefits that you guys offer. Sure.
Our website is fhotx.org, or you can do frontlineheroesoutdoors.org. Our website is doing a little bit of remodeling right now. It's still there. It's still active and working. But if you're a veteran, military member, first responder, or an immediate family member of one of those, you can go on there. There is a $0 membership that you can go and sign up for free. And we won't spam you. The emails will literally be just trips and events that you are able to register and randomly be selected to attend. If you want to donate to our cause, you can do a one-time donation at the bottom of our website, or you can sign up to be a recurring donor of $10, $25. I think we do $50, $100 a month. And then we have one package that's the 1776 package. That's a 12-month commitment. And we do it obviously to honor our heritage for America. And that money definitely helps us, continue our mission and our fight to end this mental crisis that we believe that we have in this community.
Awesome. Well, everybody, there's going to be a QR code right there for you that you can click on that. You can pause the video. You can click on that QR code with your phone. It'll take you to Frontline Heroes Outdoors, and it'll let you donate to them. Make sure you click on it. You can see I stabbed myself today with a knife, and you can tell that I'm I'm left-handed because this is my right hand, and I stabbed my finger with a knife today. In a parking lot. Then I had to go back inside the store and buy some Band-Aids.
Lovely. We're all just big kids, Chief.
That's my life right there. Folks, another charity that I want to see you give to is, and we're going to pop up that QR code right there again. It's Whiskey Valor. And what they're doing is they're raising money for their charity to try to beat drinking and driving for military and veterans out there and stuff. And they give free Uber rides and Lyft rides out to veterans and first responders and to active duty members. So if you want to give, this is the time right here. We can prevent some of that stuff, and make sure that they don't get behind a wheel. But the Frontline Heroes Outdoors, they need your help too. So I implore you, if you have to buy one less bottle of whiskey this year, that 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 can do a lot of powerful things for Frontline Heroes Outdoors and veterans and first responders out there, and save a lot of our brothers and sisters. A lot of people are going to ask this, Preston, and I've asked you this, so I know the answer to this, and I'm just telling somebody this other day, and I'm so proud of you guys for this. But the operating cost of your charity, A lot of people are concerned about that, right? Of what the operating costs. Some charities out there, veteran organizations, 60-70% of every dollar given go to the operating cost of the charity. That goes to the CFO, to the CEO. And I don't know. Personally, it makes me sick when I see that. But I know what your answer is, and it makes me happy. We've had that discussion. You want to tell all the listeners what your guys' operating costs are?
Yeah. So what makes us really unique and stand out is that we are a 100% volunteer-driven organization. Myself and my board members, my staff, we do not pay a single employee, including myself. I don't take a salary. I pour, like I was saying earlier, anywhere between 30 and 50 hours into this a week on top of my day job. And we're very, very proud of that because we believe that we are an organization that wants to give back. And in order to do that, we have to be willing to give our time as well. So every single dollar that is contributed to FHO goes directly back to our mission and our organization. Yes, of course, every organization has some administrative fees. We pay a CPA. We pay a lawyer whenever we need one, hopefully not too much, right? And then we pay somebody to do our taxes at the end of the year. But outside of that, it's really about social media content and photographers and videographers that we need to at certain events. But our staff, including our board, 100% volunteer driven. None of that money gets pocketed whatsoever. It really goes back to the organization and keeping our mission going.
I know that's a tough question to answer, but I feel like it's important to tell people that and stuff. And folks, listeners, viewers, look into the charities you're giving to. And if you haven't ever thought about that, you're just like, I just give money to it. Look at to see what that operating cost is. And some of it will shock you of how much is going towards the operating cost and people's salaries and stuff. And, some of these folks, they've already got a retirement. It's folks like Preston and his board at Frontline Heroes Outdoors, volunteers. You didn't create this to create another job for yourself. You created this because you wanted to give back and help your fellow brothers and sisters.
Yeah, there's actually a website, Chief, that I would encourage you and your listeners to go to. It's called candid.org. And what candid.org does is they have an investigator that looks into your organization, goes through all of your books, goes through all your tax filings and whatnot, and they actually give you a rating at the end of it. And we are extremely proud to say that we are a platinum level rated organization on candid.org. Funny story, it's happened 3 times to me now. I will walk into a lunch or into a meeting, and the first thing that, all 3 times this has happened was, hey, I just want to let you know, we used to give to other organizations, but we chose not to for other reasons that I don't want to talk about. However, we called the FBI and we had them look into you prior to sitting down with this conversation. And we fully are on board with what you're doing. Y'all have checked out clean. And that just makes me so proud, not only as the president, but as a member of this organization, to say our transparency is just there. Our books are open. We love what we do, and we would never want to risk the mission or the organization because of a stupid decision made by a staff member.
Well, I love it. What a great first half right here, Preston. And on the second half, we're going to come back and drink some more whiskey with you. We're going to talk about some of the events you've done in the past and future events that people could sign up for, that people could look forward to. But right before we leave here for this first half, you guys were just the recipient of the Texas Whiskey Festival. You were their official charity, and I gotta say hats off to Jake Clements and his staff and to the Texas Whiskey Festival for offering that up to you guys. And I hope next year for the 10th annual one, you're the same charity. It makes me want to, I love to go to the Texas Whiskey Festival because it's like a family reunion for Texas whiskey. But at the same time, I get to sit there and shake hands with veterans that I know the money is going to go to the right cause, to the right thing, and it's going to get to help somebody out there. So hats off to you for doing this so far. And I can't wait. I feel like I've been there since the beginning. And I can't wait to see how far this goes and where you guys get to take this in the future. But on the second half, we'll tell some people about future charities, future events for you guys, and we'll drink some more whiskey. And then we got one amazing giveaway for you folks before we leave. We'll be right back. The Whiskey Trip is proudly sponsored by Guardian Coins, a veteran, family-owned and operated company that understand what it truly means to honor service, story, and tradition. Guardian Coins just doesn't make the challenge coins. They craft symbols of pride, legacy, and camaraderie. From military units and first responders to distilleries, brands, and special events, every coin is designed with purpose and built to last. Here at the Whiskey Trip, our official Whiskey Trip Challenge coin was brought to life by Guardian Coins, and it represents exactly what this ride is all about. Craftsmanship, community, and sharing a great pour with amazing people. From custom artwork to flawless finishes, Guardian Coins works with you one-on-one to turn your vision into something tangible, something you can hold, collect, and pass down. So if you're looking to create a coin that tells your story, whether it's from your unit, your brand, or your next big milestone, trust the folks who know how much that story matters. Visit Guardian Coins on Facebook and tell them Big Chief from the Whiskey Trip sent you. Now pour something good and let's get back to the ride. All right, listeners, we're back for the second half. I got Preston Wall from Frontline Heroes Outdoors here with me. Preston, on the second half in my glass, I got this new bottle right here from Knob Creek. I was excited to see it. It's their Blenders edition. This thing's only like $40. I was shocked. $40 for this whiskey right here. It's 106 proof. It's old whiskey, which I was just shocked by that. For $40 you get this right here. I was just amazed at that they're putting out a 10-year-old bourbon whiskey for $40 at 106 proof, which is that sweet spot in whiskey where I love it, right? I don't know. I might have to go buy me some more of these before they figure out they made a bad decision at Jim Beam.
Yeah, my address is 13536. No, that's awesome, man. I love that. When we went to the Jim Beam distillery, and they had Knob Creek 12s all over the shelves, I snagged like 3. I know it may not be the most popular bourbon on planet Earth, but for I think $60 a bottle, and that 100 proof is just a perfect sweet spot. If you're gonna sip whiskey all day or whatever it may be, and I love the Knob 12. I mean, I love the Knob 12, the Knob 15. They're all great, but for the price, it's just really good.
I gotta say this: the first sip of this is almost the perfect bourbon whiskey. I love this so far. It's got this nuttiness, caramel that I need. Not too much corn on it, but it's got enough oak. It's got enough power at 106 proof to let you know, hey, I'm a nice, easy sipper. What a beautiful whiskey. The more I sip on this, I think I'm really going to enjoy this. And I might have to actually stick this in my whiskey of the year. I love something like this right here. This is for the price point, $40. I mean, Sazerac this year and last year they're going to kick some people's ass because they're putting out stuff like Sazerac Full Proof.
Yeah.
Which, they're $35 for that bottle. My God, could you ask for anything more in a rye whiskey,
right?
Than that right there? It's some people, I think they're like, oh, I didn't really like it. I'm like, I loved it. I'm like, for that price point, that's not breaking my bank right there. If I'm going to buy a bottle of whiskey, and I don't buy a whole lot of whiskey at all. A lot gets sent to me for my show, and I'm so grateful for that. But every once in a while, I'll see a bottle, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna buy that. Let's get into in the second half. Let's talk about some of the events you guys have done, some of the big hunts, and some of the partnerships you guys have had with businesses out there that said, these big high fence ranches that said, hey, you could utilize us and bring people out here. You want to spotlight a couple of those folks and some of these adventures that you've taken these veterans, these first responders on?
Yeah. first and foremost, our biggest sponsor monetarily has been James Avery Jewelers. Paula Johnson is a dear friend. She's the director of philanthropic giving there. And anytime I call her, no matter what the ask is, the answer is always yes in some form or fashion. And they have been with us since day one. Absolutely love Paula and the team. Shaw Remodeling is up there as well. And what's really unique about Shaw Remodeling is not only do they have the business side of the house where they do Shaw Remodeling, but they also have the Shaw Family Ranch down in Freer, Texas, about 2 hours south of us. And we've taken numerous trips out there, and they have beautiful animals. And Eric does a great job guiding, and Carolyn she plays such a great host, and absolutely love and adore them and their whole family. You know, their son-in-law golfs in our golf tournament, and their daughter runs the business, and their other daughter does catering for us on the side. Like, it's just, we feel like they are part of our family, right? Cavener Auto Group is one of our bigger sponsors as well, and you know, they're all over the state of Texas, mainly here in San Antonio, but they're up in the Dallas area as well. And Sydney and Dina and all the Rob and Lee and all the family there, man, they've been so supportive, and we are just extremely blessed to call them friends. And then last but not least, I mean, there's so many donors and sponsors I could thank, is Jack and Cecilia Johnson at a place called the Gents Place, where it's actually where I really got into bourbon, but it's a high-end barber shop. And the way they describe it is it's a speakeasy meets a country club that happens to cut hair. And it's a very high-end barber shop, and they have these private lockers when you go. They're based out of Dallas, but the San Antonio location obviously is kind of our bread and butter. But they have these lockers, and in your locker you can keep whatever bourbon, whiskey, alcohol you want. And some of the members there, you know, they have everything from like a Pappy 23 to an Eagle Rare 17 to a double Eagle Rare. And then you have like poor guys like me who, you know, have your standard bourbons in there. But everybody is so generous, and they love to share there. And there's a good amount of veterans and military members who go and are members there. But anyways, on Sundays, you know, about once a quarter or so, Jack and Cecilia, they open up their doors to us, and they close down shop, and they allow us to run fundraisers there and events. And it's just an incredible time. We have a great turnout, raise some decent money, but really it's, again, we feel like they're part of our family. Again, I feel like I'm leaving so many people out, like the Dunnenbergs up in the Fredericksburg area. They have a high fence ranch there that they've been super generous to us and allowing us to take members out there. We have the 1687 Foundation that's between here and Dallas. We've got the Double T Ranch and Outfitters over in Crystal City, Texas. Kenny Creek over just south of Austin, where we go pheasant and quail hunting. And there's just so many amazing places that have supported us in, you know, multiple facets, and I'm just super grateful for them.
You've also had some of these. You talked about a woman's retreat, and they got to do massages and pedicures and stuff. But you did all these amazing. You did one for families and stuff where there was no alcohol involved at all, where people could take their families and stuff, and some fellowship there. But you also did. I noticed you guys did a thing with like motorcycles and exotic sports cars, and helicopters. You're doing other stuff out there though, and in the sporting events that you've done. I got to work with one of your guys up in Dallas to help raise some money. You guys at the Dallas Cowboys football game. You know, that kind of stuff right there is just, not everybody's into hunting and fishing, but some people might be into kayaking or hiking or going to the Spurs games, right? Going to Dallas Cowboys games, or, you know, a Texas Longhorns games, or whatever your sports team is. You guys are getting across the state of Texas and doing all kinds of stuff.
Going. Just think of it this way: going to the movie theater with your family is, I mean, it's more expensive than a standard date night with your wife. I mean, it's $10-20 to get a ticket. Popcorn's $15. Drinks are $10, and then if you want an alcoholic beverage, it's $15. Next thing you know, you have $100, $200, $300 bill just from that alone. I tell you that because we're renting out this entire theater and we're providing all the popcorn and beverages for all 60 people that are going to be there. And just, I sent out the text yesterday saying, hey, congratulations, you've been picked for this. And the reactions are just they're like very heartwarming. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we were picked. This is so cool. My kids are going to be so excited. I'm so excited because one person said, I lost my job a few weeks ago and we're not really able to go out right now. So this is incredible that you're able to do this for us. And that just completely warms my heart. You mentioned the supercars, exotic cars, but the event's called Lone Star Supercars. Our friend Philip hosted at the Double R Ranch, thanks to Miss Shannon Ralston, who's one of our bigger supporters as well. So shout out to Philip and Shannon. But we work with an organization called TEN, T-E-N, the Exotics Network. And what they do is they throw events nationwide that you have to be a member of their exotic club, and your car has to be worth $250,000 or more. And it's just this high-end deal. Well, every Texas Independence Day, they throw this event out at the ranch where they start at this really nice neighborhood in San Antonio called the Dominion. And you have 60 to 100 exotic vehicles lined up, and they take a drive across the hill country with a police and SWAT helicopter escort. And they go to this private ranch, and then they park the cars in this perfect oval. And inside of that oval is tables and chairs for our dinner. And we have vendors there. Our friend Mike Vasquez, he's called the wheelchair skydiver. And he lost both of his legs overseas, and he's the first fully rated skydiver in the United States that has lost both of his legs. And he actually dove in with the American flag and tote, and another diver with the Texas flag and tote. And it was just an incredible moment, something I've always kind of dreamed of putting together, and it just came together so organically. And our friend Tricia played the violin, had the Star Spangled Banner going, and tears were rolling. It was just, I'm getting choked up talking about it. It was an incredible moment. But all of the proceeds for that day went to FHO. And what's really cool is, as much as I love saying the story, I hate saying the story as well. Our friends Ashley and Gil, who are not only active duty military, but they have a business on the side, and they support us financially and monetarily. 2 Fridays prior to that, their 10-year-old son was diagnosed with leukemia. And Tom and I put our heads together, and we didn't tell Gil. Ashley couldn't be there because she was actually at the hospital with her son, but Gil came, and we didn't tell him beforehand. But we have a live auction going on where we auctioned off all sorts of amazing things. But bringing it back to whiskey and bourbon, Jack at the Gents Place and our friend Chris Beal donated a Pappy 23 year, a Thomas H. Handy, and some other barrel pick bottles, and we auctioned those off. But before the auction actually happened, I got on the microphone and said, hey, I just want to let you know, although all the money tonight here is going to FHO, this specific auction item that you're about to hear, all the proceeds are going to benefit Gil and his family. And when people heard that, numbers were flying. And long story short, thanks to our friend Sean Perry, we got to write a $10,000 check to that family. And it was just incredible. So not only do we enjoy our mission and giving back to our veterans and military members and first responders, but we just love giving back to communities and other causes that we believe in. We've done what I feel like is a really good job of donating to other charities and supporting them financially, or just showing up sometimes. But I love telling that story because it really showcases who we are as individuals and who we are as an organization.
I love it, man. You're making me choke up a little bit. I love that, even you're trying to raise money for your fellow veterans and first responders, but then another opportunity comes along to where you could help somebody else out, a family that has some devastating news, and, you're pouring that much more of yourself into this. And, and I think that's why you and I really connected, and I shook your hand up there in Dallas and stuff. I was like, man, me and my brother talked about it. And he was like, do you like that guy? And I was like, oh, I love him, man. He's like, oh, I knew you would. I feel a connection with you because I always feel like every night when I go to bed, I look myself in the mirror and some people say this is weird, but I do. I look at myself in the mirror and say, how can I be a better man tomorrow? How can I be a better human? And what can I give back tomorrow that I didn't give today? And I feel like you do the same thing. And some people can't understand that. And I know my wife would, and I'm sure your wife would understand.
Sure.
That sometimes she probably looks at you and says, man, I'm jealous of that time that he's giving, but she understands that's the passion in you. And that's who you are. And you've surrounded yourself with like-minded people that want to give that same passion back to other people, to fellow veterans, to fellow first responders, because it's not easy. It is not easy being a veteran or even an active duty member. A lot of people don't understand the sacrifices that first responders make, that veterans make, that active duty members make, to where you might be, and don't get me wrong on this, I love everybody that listens to my show, but if you're able to stay in the same hometown for 20 years, you're able to coach your kids' baseball team, you're able to go to the movies, you're able to, have a regular date night when that cop is on his 12-hour night shift, or that firefighter is on their 3-day shift, right? You're able to do all the things you can do free in life and here in the United States because of those first responders, because of those service members. They're the people that keep the boogeyman out. I can't say it any different way. It's people that raised their hand and took that oath. It's people like Preston here that keep doing that.
I tell you a funny story. It literally happened last week. I was on my way to the gents place, the place I was talking about earlier, and I had my whole day planned out. I had perfect timing. In the military, you leave at this time to get here at this time, and you're going to do A, B, and C when you're there. And I'm going down the highway, and all of a sudden I feel a pop, and I'm looking at I get an air tire pressure notification, and it was like 55 or something, semi-normal. And as I'm driving, within 10 seconds, it's like 45, 35, 25. And sure enough, I look in my rearview mirror and I see my tire, and it's just going down. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm in a rush today. Why are you doing this to me, God? And I pull off the highway, and it was just, whether or not you're a believer and you're listening to this podcast or not, but some things just happen for a reason. I'd like to think sometimes that that's, God's will, or, the Lord's doing. As I pull off the highway, the first turn I make on the right-hand side is a fire department. And these guys are outside working out, and they literally see me get out of my car. They see my struggle. 6 of them come over. They change my tire in like 8 minutes. I was on my way to drop off stuff for the golf tournament, and they're like, hey, we can't get to your jack because you have all this stuff. What's this for? And I got to tell them about FHO while they're changing my tire for me, because I was in really nice clothes, and it was really great. Anyways, not only did we get to connect for that reason, and I said, hey guys, I owe you something. They said, no, please, what you're doing with FHO is enough. Please just give back your time, and that's enough for us. But I did secretly order them 10 pizzas from Domino's that night and had it delivered to the fire department as a thank you. But man, there's so many good people out there that just have servant hearts. And we're so fortunate and blessed to live in a country where people are willing to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm willing to sit on this, 72-hour shift to protect and serve, or whatever it may be. And I feel very grateful that we as an organization have people on our staff who have raised their hand countless and numerous times. We have active duty folks that are still, Tom, my VP, is active duty. We've got 60 staff members across the state of Texas. And of those, I would venture to say 45 of them are veterans, and a couple of them are active duty. And they just, again, have servant hearts and they want to give back. And because of FHO, they're willing and able to do that. So it provides a platform for them. And, I've said it 20 times on this podcast now. I'm just so grateful and blessed to be a part of this organization and call it, a second family.
I love it. I love it. So Preston, what's some future events that you guys got coming up that you'd love to tell some listeners, some viewers, a veteran out there that hasn't taken advantage of what you guys are offering?
Sure. So we have trips and we have events. Our trips are for our members, and those are the hunting, the fishing, the skydiving, the concerts, Spurs games, Cowboys games, all of those things that we've talked about already. Then we have our events, which is what the average person would call a fundraiser, right? Or an awareness event. We have Whiskey Trip coming up. We have Whiskey Fest coming up where the Whiskey Trip will be there. Shout out to Jake and his team for having us out there. We've gone 3 years in a row, and I've asked aimlessly time and time again, can we be the beneficiary? Can we support? And this year he gave in, if you will. I bugged him enough, but I was super blessed to get that email from him saying, hey, we've actually selected FHO to be the beneficiary. In the fall, we have two events. September, we have our Wings for Warrior dove hunt, and that is a team of 10 for $3,500. It's $350 a person if you break it down, but that includes a high-class, high-event dove hunt here in Hondo, Texas. And then it's dinner, raffle prizes, door prizes, auction, and all the money goes back to FHO. And our friend Chris Clarkson is putting that on for us this year, and we're super blessed to have him in our corner. So if you look on our website, the Wings for Warriors link is on there to sign up a team. But then our biggest fundraiser of the year is our banquet, and that's October 3rd in Helotes, Texas, at Pedrati's Ranch. And you don't have to be a sponsor. You just buy a ticket. Tickets are $100. They're on sale right now. We are extremely grateful to all of the sponsors and donors that we have so far. We already are up to 500 people just by sponsors and donors alone. And we're looking to probably have about 750 people there, give or take. So please go buy a ticket. If you feel so moved, buy a table for your business or for you and your friends. Tables are $1,500, or for $3,000, you can come to our VIP hour that's sponsored by Cabinet Auto Group. It's a really amazing time. It's open bar, appetizers. You get first dibs at games and prizes. There'll be a lot. It's a production. It really is. It's a lot of fun, and people really, really enjoy it. And this will be our third banquet, and I think that it's just getting better and better every year. If you're from the San Antonio area, Bill Taylor, the local weatherman who's very well known here, will be our MC again this year, and he did an incredible job last year. I was actually on his podcast, 5 months ago or so, and he's just an incredible human being. Side note, he was my Sunday school teacher growing up, so that's kind of fun as well. But so I would definitely encourage people to go on our website, look on our events and trips page, either sign up to as a member to go out on one of our trips, or sign up for one of our events. You can come out, see our cause, see our mission, be part of the purpose, and give back.
I love it. And your frontlineheroes.com, right?
FHOTX.org or frontlineheroesoutdoors.org. They both will lead you back to our website. Also, we're on Facebook, Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, all the social media platforms under Frontline Heroes Outdoors. We put out some amazing content. Our friend Lauren is our social media manager, and she creates these beautiful reels that get to capture and tell the stories of all the people that we get to take out on these trips and do recaps and just be able to show the goodness that FHO is doing.
Awesome. So, folks, I'm going to pop that QR code up there once again for you to help support this great organization that gives back to not only veterans but to frontline, to first responders, police officers, firefighters, EMTs, please, I don't know. I don't beg many people, but if you're wanting to give to a charity, this is the charity. I had somebody call me not too long ago. If you want to donate a large amount of money, and I know I got some listeners out there that's got those nice deep pockets that have a great businesses out there and stuff. If you're looking to support a charity that's backed by Big Chief, I can't tell you enough about them, but give me a call if you got my number. I'm easy to find. My number's easy to find, and I'll connect you to Preston. I will connect you and figure out a way that your company can help them out. If you're a company here in Texas or outside of Texas. And speaking of that, are you guys, and I know I asked you this last time, is there any thought process to expanding outside the state of Texas?
So chapter-wise, no. Adventure and trips-wise, yes. We've done some things outside the state. One of our bigger stories is we were contacted through one of our board members, Keegan, his friend and now veteran Kyle has heart cancer. And what's killing Kyle currently is not the heart cancer itself, but it's the chemo. And it's just destroying his heart. And we had found out that Kyle may or may not have a lot of time left with us. And his dream, he grew up in Oregon. He was a 49ers fan, unfortunately, for us Cowboys listeners. But his dream was to go to a 49ers game. And again, whether you believe in God or, a bigger power, I think it just kind of worked its way organically. But we were able to fly him and his family out to a 49ers game. And although he was invited for the on-field experience, he literally and physically could not do it. He didn't have the energy. But what was really amazing was that game, they actually had one of his favorite bands, Journey, play the halftime show at a regular NFL game. And again, it was just organically came together, and getting able to see Kyle's face in the pictures and the videos, and being able to be a part of his journey was just incredible. We have so many stories like that, and too many to tell on this singular podcast, but I love sharing those stories because they really show you as a listener, if you're listening to this, where your potential dollars will go. We were contacted, I'll tell one more before we hop off, Chief, but we were contacted a few years ago by a family who the mom had quit her job because their 7-year-old daughter had leukemia, and dad was he was a Navy vet. Now he's a sheriff up in Central Texas. And she said he's worked countless hours. He doesn't get a break. So we worked with the family to make sure that the child's oncology unit was okay with it, but brought them down to South Texas, and the little girl wanted to go hiking, fishing, and hunting with her dad. And although I couldn't be at that trip specifically because, we've done over 100 trips, obviously I can't be on every single one of them. And, that's why we're blessed to have this 60-person staff to go and put on these trips. I did feel moved to drive down and have lunch with the family. And as we're having lunch, little girl dozes off to sleep, and dad tells me all about his job and being a veteran and what this trip meant to him. And, I was really touched and moved. And I get up to leave. I go rub the little girl's back. I hug and shake the dad's hand, and just really felt an emotional moment with him. And it gets worse because the mom goes in to hug me, and she squeezes me really tight, and she whispers in my ear, for about 5 minutes today, I forgot my daughter had cancer. And that got me. I didn't cry in front of her, but I cried almost the entire drive home. If you're listening and not watching, you'll see I'm a big bearded, tattooed dude, and I'm an emotional son of a bitch. Excuse my language. But that story and stories like that keep me motivated to continue this mission and give me purpose and give our organization the drive that we need. And we couldn't do it without supporters like you, Big Chief. Couldn't do it without supporters like Milam and Green, Whiskey Fest, James Avery, and all the other people that I've named, and the ones that I haven't, and I apologize to them, and to your listeners who potentially are going to donate and sponsor some things. We're grateful for all of your help and support.
Well, I love you, man, and it's always great talking with you. We might just have to make this a yearly thing. Just do it every year.
I'll bring somebody else. They're tired of seeing me.
No, they're not tired of seeing you. So listeners, I do have a giveaway as always. And some people ask me, why do you do the giveaways? I want to give back more than I take, and I get plenty. I got more whiskey than a man could drink in 100 years, I think. And I'm very blessed to get to work with people like Preston, to have a podcast. I've lived a blessed life. It all hasn't been easy, but, what I got, I'm very grateful for. I'm grateful for the friends I have and the life that I live. I got a great wife. I got a great dog. I got a pool in my backyard, which is almost ready for me to swim in. So, it's a great time to be alive in old Big Chief's life. But I want to give back this week, and I'm going to give away this bottle right here, this very small batch from Milam and Green. This is 108 proof right here. French oak staves finished. So I'm going to give that away. And because I'm working with Preston and doing a podcast, I want to give away one of my challenge coins. That means a lot to me when you get one of these. That means you're one of my warriors. On the front side is my logo, and then on the back side you'll see Take a Ride with Big Chief and Coast Guard Chief's anchor, and then a mic for the podcast. And then I'm gonna throw in there one of my rocks glasses for you. Is the giveaway this week. What you'll have to do is you'll put an emoji of a salute. There is one on Instagram. I checked it out. Tag 4 friends. Follow Frontline Heroes Outdoors on all social media platforms. Follow the Whiskey Trip. And then go ahead and like and share the post. That's all you got to do. I'm going to do this all week long. I'll be putting out posts for it, giveaway photo, giveaway reels, all kinds of things. Comment as many times as possible. If you are a first responder or a service member, I'll give you an extra added bonus in that. Just you have to say, I served on your comments. That way I automatically know. I do check people out and stuff. I don't use a randomizer. A lot of people don't like that I don't do that. But what I do, folks, if you're watching, if you're listening, I actually physically go in and see who put in for the giveaway. And I look for people that has stuck with me, that give back themselves, that participate in the podcast. They support me 100%. I'm an old veteran and I need as much support as I can get. So that's how I pick my winners every week and stuff. I want somebody that hasn't jumped in and out and just trying to get a giveaway. I want somebody that's going to truly enjoy this, that deserves a coin, that deserves a glass. I'll throw in a couple of my stickers in that package with you, but put in for it all week long, folks. And then once again, that QR code right there, click on that QR code, pause the video, click on the QR code. If you're listening to this, go over to YouTube, watch the video, find the QR code, and give back to Frontline Heroes Outdoors. I'd really appreciate it. Preston, any last words for listeners out there?
I just want to say thank you so much for supporting us, Big Chief. To all your listeners, thanks for potentially supporting us. If you already do, thank you so much for that. My biggest thing I always tell everybody is we love getting money into the organization, but what we love is getting more people into the organization that we can help for our cause. So if you are a military member, veteran, first responder, or a family member of such, or you have friends or family that are those categories, please have them sign up. It's completely free of charge. We love to take them out on a trip. Send us a message about somebody who's in need, or we'd love to see how we can be able to assist. We may not be able to get to every single person. We understand that and acknowledge that, but we also want to do as much goodness as we can, and we couldn't do it without all of our supporters. So thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you taking a ride with me. Listeners, you know where you can find old Big Chief at. You can find me at The Whiskey Trip on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and now YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. I'm almost at 400 subscribers. I'm trying to build that page up, and I'm trying to put out more shorts on there, more educational videos. But I can't do it without you. If you don't subscribe, then it doesn't help me. But if you hit that subscribe button, if you've watched it one time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to me, listen to Matt and Mark and the crew over there at the Bourbon Life. Yes, indeed. I'm partnered with another podcast on all podcast platforms. The Bourbon Life. That's where you can find my podcast at. But go ahead and listen to them as well. If you like what you're listening to, leave us that 5-star review. Leave us some comments, as I always say. That opens up doors to distilleries like Milam and Green right here. Gets great guests on my show, like Preston and his son just walked by. It gets him on the podcast. There goes another kid, a whole troop of them. But I love it. I love it. But those comments, truly, they do open up doors to me. It gets great whiskey in my hand. I really appreciate it. If you're leaving the comments, go ahead and put them over on my Facebook page. And I'm trying to build that Facebook page. Invite your friends, all your Facebook friends that you never talk to. Invite all of them to follow the Whiskey Trip, and invite them to follow Frontline Heroes Outdoors. It's that easy. Hit that 3 little dots up there at the top. You go on there and it says invite friends, and then you go to invite all friends. You can invite 1,000 people at one time. You know what? Some of those people you've never met before, but you send them an invite and help us grow these pages organically. I know Preston would appreciate it. I would appreciate that. Keep listening. I'm trying to bring you some great content. Jake might have just connected me with another whiskey company for another episode that I think everybody will enjoy. I'm always looking for great content. If you got a distillery in your backyard, you got somebody that you think would be great on my show, link me up with them. Send me an email at mike@thewhiskeytrip.com and let me know what you're thinking. I am very approachable to all kinds of guests. But thank you, everybody. This is old Big Chief, and thanks for taking this ride with me, baby.